Hey, today I want to talk about BIM audits. This is a high level view, so we're not going to get into the nuanced details. If that's something that you want, I'm sorry, but this is just to stay high level. This is an effort that I'm working on at my firm, and this is a team effort. And I just want to share high levels to more or less inspire folks, but to also maybe have a conversation around these and hear from other people too. So at the end of this presentation or PowerPoint, there will be a Discord link, but there's also one in the description as well. So feel free to post things that you're doing at your firm that are related to this, or how are you trying to make folks better with design technology. So I get BIM audits too, like the term BIM. It's seems to be less used now. Design technology is used more often now. It seems like a lot more folks are dropping the BIM titles. But for this case, for how we're using it, I think BIM's okay, and I'm not too picky about the words we use as long as the outcome and the goal is being achieved. So the goal for this is to help make us more efficient and effective with design technology. So what are those bottlenecks? What are some of those issues? And can we identify them and make us better? So it's not just identifying, which is something I didn't say here, but identify, but also implement new ideas, or just change a process, or use an existing tool that we weren't before. Get a better grasp of how design tech is used. So Revit, what's the landscape of our markets? Like, how are we using these existing tools so we can have a better grasp? Now, I'm new to the firm I work for, but so are a lot of other BIM folks. So I think this in general is good, because sometimes in larger firms you can lose grasp on what's really going on with those teams. And then after you understand the landscape of those teams, then you understand better how you can contribute and help make them better. And it needs to be a team effort, and that's why building stronger relationships is really important, because to make anything successful, you have to have a good team dynamic with the folks you're helping, between your own team, other teams. It's really important. So this is the BIM audit process. Again, very high level. If that's not what you're looking for, I'm sure there's other good resources out there talking about this. But I can share maybe more details if you ask in the Discord. The Mural, so this below is just a snippet from Mural. There's nothing special in this Mural, so if you come out here and you're expecting more, you don't, because this is it. The reason why I wanted to even share this was because I wanted to catch myself there. I really enjoy Mural. I think there's some UI issues. That's why I was about to say I love it, but I think it could be improved. But I do think it's a wonderful tool to brainstorm ideas. Not everything needs to go through Mural. I've had experiences where we use Mural all the time, not at the place I work at now, but I've used it in the past quite a bit, and I did not enjoy it. They can get very overwhelming very quickly, and then doesn't encourage the intent that maybe you're trying to use it for. In my case, I just try to keep it real small. Let's brainstorm some ideas, note some things down, and I've had success with it so far. And that's why I wanted to share it today, because there might be a tool that you enjoy and that you want to use at your firm. I don't know, but it might be worth checking out. And one of the big reasons I love it is it's free up to so many murals, and I've not had to purchase it yet, but I'm considering purchasing it now because I've used it so much and I've hit my max. So you get to kind of feel it out before you're ever forced into buying anything. So I really like that. And this is not really a fantastic example of what Mural can offer, so I recommend just maybe doing a little bit of research and looking into it. But these are the different processes or the different phases. So I'll high level hit these. Pre-discovery, the point is to do your research, look at data if you have any at your firm for your markets or your teams. The idea is that we want to, each firm is different. The dynamics of teams are different. So you could take this and fit it however way you wanted. So I'm not going to say like this process isn't a one fit all. You may have to shape it. You may have your own process, or this may not work for you at all. But pre-discovery is essentially doing your research before you sit down, sit down and talk with them, because your next phase is a discovery meeting. So when you actually sit down with the folks in the pre-discovery, you'll identify who those key players are, and then you'll sit down with them and kind of just talk with them. The goal there is to listen, not to necessarily talk, but to listen, to identify pain points, any issues that may stand out, just kind of hear from them. And then the next one, solution mapping, is when you you take what you have, you cross-evaluate it between pre-discovery and discovery, and you try to understand what the landscape is, set up any additional calls if necessary, but then you really understand what's going on, how are they using Revit, how are they using other design tools, and then from there, what are the action items. So we've identified what these are. We know based off of the data and what they're saying, these are issues. We know more about the clients. We know more about the team. Maybe there's training related items. We can now start to plan those out in the action step. And then implementing is where we take those action items and then we implement them, and then we monitor the progress. So maybe through KPIs, maybe through some data, something as simple as tracking labor data, so that you can see if you're improving on your projects, how often you're billing for labor related codes when it comes to your projects, identifying those metrics, tracking them, but also implementing it. So that's the steps we have. Again, this isn't a one fit all. I want to hopefully encourage a conversation around this, but also if you don't have something like this, maybe it can help guide you to better or guide you into creating something like this for your team. This isn't, I kind of threw these notes on here just brainstorming some stuff, but I kind of liked it and I left it. I was going to delete this slide, but implementing the process is where the magic is. So that's why I say, like, getting in there, identifying all the steps, all the issues, but actually implementing it and focusing on the outcome. Are we achieving it? Are we actually making our teams better? Let's not just talk about it. Let's go through the phases and make sure that at the end of 2 weeks or a month that our teams are better off than they were before. And then continue that process over and over again. Teamwork makes the dream work. Again, this is partly why I wanted to delete this slide. It's kind of silly, but I do think that's really important. Teamwork is a big part of this. Building good relationships. I mean, you're internal, but even if you're internal, that's no excuse of treating people badly, not respecting folks. Respect them, try to understand their problems, and see how you can help them and build that trust between you and other stakeholders, other folks that are important in just making things better. Simple but simple but documented process. That I think I could reword that a little bit, but keep it simple is what I'm trying to say. Keep it simple, and then don't over document, don't over process. At the end of the day, if it's not helping, then and you need to make sure to evaluate that, because the last thing you want is to over process things and then just cause a huge headache. So make sure there's a feedback loop and that you're trying to always improve this. And then leave certain things like, oh, in this phase you can skip these steps, because it's up to you. Are these applicable to what you're doing? If not, no, not a big deal. So it's a way to help guide the conversations, but isn't a strict way of doing the process. Because at the end of the day, what's the outcome? Are we achieving that? Is this making us better? If it's not, let's change it, or maybe get rid of the entire process altogether. I added Mural as a team sport, just to. I kind of mentioned it in the previous slides, but Mural is a really powerful tool, but it's meant to be like it. I think a good example is like whiteboards, where a lot of folks are just putting like sticky notes and things like that onto the board. Mural's like that, but for virtual. Like the team I work with is all over the place. We're not in one single location, and so using a tool like this can allow us to get the benefit of like being in the same room and whiteboarding. And it depends on the team dynamic, but I've had really good success with this. I have a really awesome team, and I think, really benefit from this tool, from Mural. With that said, I wouldn't go too crazy with Mural, because I've seen people use it the opposite, and they get too into it, and then they use it for everything. And I think it has a place and time to be used, and that's not all the time. So anyways, that's what I've got. Here's the Discord server. It looks very different than what you see here. I think we've only had 100, and actually, you know what? I have it open, so I'm gonna close this real quick. So here's the server. We've got about 620 people. There's 2 bots. There's a bunch of different channels, and then if there's ever more that you want added, you can always let me know. But feel free to, just in the general, if you've got processes or things that you're doing already, feel free to share those in this server, and just we can have a conversation about that and help each other. So anyways, that's what I've got for this video. Feel free to check this out. Here's a link for Discord, and then below there's also one in the description. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.